Hello, it's Jody from Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures here.
Evan from the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson.
Milton from Bareback Broncos.
Derek and Monica from Bronco Adventures.
Awesome. Derek, would you like to introduce our guest?
I would. I'm super excited about this next guest. We've talked to Raptor owners, but we've never talked to a Raptor owner that can literally fly. So this is Austin, and on Instagram, he's Raptor Roach. So welcome to Dirt Therapy.
Yeah.
Hello. Let's see how much I can contribute to the dirt side of things.
Absolutely. So just to get started real quick, guys, I did have something I wanted to do. Since if y'all haven't ate yet, I was going to see if anybody wanted some RCV dumbbells.
Got to update us on that.
So we were talking backstage. So went to Crown King, back way to Crown King. It's one of the, probably harder trails down in this area, at least for non-buggies, and got through all of it. It's very, very good trail. And then there towards the very last obstacle is like a little ledge. It's probably about 3 or 4 feet high, but it's pretty vertical. And lined up, went over it, spun a little bit, backed up, went up, spun again a little bit, backed up, give it a little bit more bump. But, and you can see, I'll post a video here very soon. It's got the footage of it. The first time you can see barely like a glance of something clicking from the passenger side. And then the second try, my tire actually kicks up a piece of metal or something, looked like, or a rock, and spits it back. I'm not sure, based on what I've seen today after getting the stop axle swap back in, that's related, because that piece was pretty sizable in the video. This is just a little tiny chunk. And basically the boot came off, lost 2 ball bearings, and found one of them on the trail. And then, it's kind of like here. I'll show you guys some pictures here. But it's a pretty sad day for me, to put it that way. So as you can see here, that's the culprit. So that's on the very end, right where it goes in where the ball bearings, and I guess, like, for a better term, a cage. I don't know how familiar you guys are with RCV or CV axles, but I'm not overly familiar with them. But you can see right here, this chunk was missing. We also had, I noticed that, got some more pictures of it here. This area, this cage or whatever you call it, you can see there ball bearing, but one of these holes is like elongated, it looks like, which I thought was kind of weird.
You broke it good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mom always told me don't half-ass anything. See, like right here, you can see this. This is a little elongated right here. So I've already been in contact with RCV. I just sent I've been letting them know, giving them a heads up, because I talked to them directly, back when I lived in Chicago, because they're based up there near where Evan and Courtney are up in Rockford. So I reached out to them, and Josh works up there. He responded back to me, so I sent him the pictures. I'm going to file a warranty claim after we get off here tonight, so make it official. And hopefully we'll get something back before October, before Evan and I hit the Rubicon. So we'll see. That's the hope. And then also at the same time, and I don't know if these happened simultaneously or if the shocks were already like that and I just didn't notice it until later. But the rear shocks, on both rear shocks, dumped out a shitload of fluid out where the fittings are for the remote reservoirs. And we couldn't figure out what was going on with that. And they were way low because the stuff was everywhere. So the shop today that had the axle, they looked at it. They said the fittings were real loose. Now, keep in mind, they've been on there for 1.5 years. And we've not had them taken off or moved or nothing. They've just been there. And I don't know if with the rock crawler kit, that extra articulation, I guess maybe twisted the lines on. I'm speculating at this point to where maybe it moved a little bit and loosened it up. Because I just find it hard to believe it took 1.5 years for it to loosen up. But he said that when they went to turn it with their finger, they could turn it with their fingers. It was that loose. So given the amount of fluid that they lost, he said they'd have to rebuild it. So it was one of those things. And I weighed my options because I'm supposed to go to Colorado next weekend. And I was like, my buddy that was with me that day, Bronco Patriot on Instagram, he's got a similar build to mine, but he has those ADS shocks coilovers. So we reached out to them. They're based here in Tucson. So I bought a set of new coilovers from them going down Friday morning. They're going to pop them on for me. They had a pretty good sale going right now if anybody's interested. And they gave me a pretty good deal on them. So hopefully we'll be back soon. The left axle, the driver's side axle, is still the RCV. I didn't have them change it out since there was no need to. But moral of the story, if you ever upgrade your axle, save your old ones. We did the same thing for the rears. We put the Yukons in the rears when we did the rock crawler kit. And specifically for that reason, I was thinking I was going to have to let Evan use them because I figured he might break something at the Rubicon, but hell, he may have to help me out at this point.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things.
Are you going to take the passenger one out to inspect it to make sure everything's good, or are you just going to kind of face that it's all right?
Are you talking about the driver's side?
Yeah, the driver's side. I'm sorry.
No, well, there's no issues with it. So the shop looked, because I got the Bronc Buster diff tube, and I got that brand new FDU that's got the same half housing as the new Dana 44, Ultra 44. He looked at all that stuff that he could see, and he said everything looked perfect. So it didn't do any damage to anything that we could tell. It drives fine. There's no more noises, no clicking noises or anything like that. So, it's just one of those things. And I don't know if we just got a defective one or we just had that 1 in a million hit. But the good news is like Eric is saying in the chat here, RCV is usually pretty good. And I don't want to diss them or take anything away from them because, they've been around forever. And, hell, they've all these racing teams that use them, including, RTR, Funhaver, and, all these other companies and races. Sorry, I'm getting interrupted here. Yeah, my bad.
And everything has got its fail point, even if it doesn't seem like that crazy of a situation. Obviously, there was a lot of, stress on that.
Yeah. So y'all see the video here soon. I'll be releasing it here soon. So you can kind of judge for yourself. But based on the people that I've shared it with, including I shared it with Todd from Deutsch, and a lot of them, people's reaction was like, well, that wasn't really anything that should break that. I wasn't doing the hopping thing. I see, hell, Derek, I've seen you do a lot worse shit.
Yeah. Knock on wood, I haven't broke a CV yet.
Well, hang around me. Maybe my bad luck will run off on you. So, yeah. Well, anyway, enough of me rambling about myself. Guys, what's up with y'all?
I'm going to Colorado too, so I'll be there.
Awesome. What day you get there?
I'm actually leaving on Tuesday. I'm getting up there early. My wife is going to be at a wedding, and then my mom lives up there, so we're going to hang out. So I'll be up there from
Sweet.
Tuesday up until well after the event.
Nice. Oh, yeah, you're going to the Supercell Colorado?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to Texas in a couple days as well for a Raptor event.
Nice. Where are you based out of, Austin?
New Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
In neither of the actual cities in New Mexico. I'm in nowhere in the vicinity of a city. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Well, you're in service, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm at Holloman Air Force Base, which is right outside of White Sands.
Yeah. I seen a bunch of your cool videos, man, the jets and stuff. It's so awesome.
It's definitely a good place to fly. That's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Mr. Blanco? We missed you last week. So how's things going with you guys?
Oh, good. We're just still gearing up to build that Bronco to be in SEMA. And so collecting parts and, just things as we go. The hard part is I want to keep using the Bronco, but I don't want to put the new stuff on it and beat it up before we go show it off because I don't have that mentality of show it off. So I got to just hoard all these new parts, and it's driving me nuts.
We can't scratch them yet.
Yeah.
Is that how SEMA works?
Yeah, it's not like a regular car show where you show up dirty and you get extra points, right?
Yeah. Can't do that.
Yeah. Immediately after, though, it's going to get used.
Game on.
So
there you go.
You do get extra points if you go to SEMA with no drive shaft.
yeah. Yeah, we did that once
Yeah.
without front drive unit.
Yeah.
But the latest thing we've got coming our way is we got Catskins leather on board for the interior. So gonna switch that up and make it a little bit different than stock, but nothing crazy. But I don't know, different.
Yeah.
So
We're excited about it.
Yeah.
I think it'll change the whole look from the. I've always hated the tan that they put in the Bronco.
Yeah.
From the day we got
Are
it.
you all stressed?
no,
We're stressed. We're
Well-
stressed. I'm stressed.
no.
I'm gonna miss you in Colorado.
Yeah.
And the nice part is I've been working on like all the wiring and stuff for the lights, and the cool part is I can run it all and get it all tied up and then just leave it alone. Then when we do bumpers and all that stuff, then I can pull the wiring and actually finish it. And so there's a lot of work that I've been doing, but I just can't actually finalize yet.
Yeah.
So, but
Wish
Yeah.
we could go to Colorado, but it just wasn't in the cards. And we're excited to go to Nevada.
Yeah.
See what it's all about. Maybe we'll alternate.
Are you going to the Supercell Nevada?
Mm-hmm.
It's in October.
October.
Right.
I think the 9th.
that's the biggest thing
So-
is
Supercell, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, SEMA.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of late nights,
Yeah.
which is okay.
I think I'm
It'll be-
still going.
I-
I'm not gonna. My Bronco's not gonna be in SEMA, but I'll be there with you guys.
It'll be fun.
Hanging
So
out.
y'all still going to Nevada, Derek?
Yeah, we'll be in Nevada.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Awesome. Finally get to meet the Bronco.
Yeah,
Bronco.
Right?
Yeah, most likely I'll probably have all the interior stuff done at that point, but everything else I'm going to hold off until after. So, but we'll see.
Awesome. All right. And Austin, you ever venture over to the Phoenix, Arizona area? I know New Mexico is close to us.
Every once in a while, I do. I've been going mostly east into Texas, and then I've gone to like Moab and Colorado a couple times. I've been meaning to get back out to Arizona though.
Yeah. Well, wait a couple of months.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not more events out there, to be honest.
Especially in summer, because there's a ton of trails here.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there'd be, with how much difficulty people are having getting event space. I feel like Arizona's perfect because there's plenty of space.
Yeah, I mean, even if they want to do something in Flagstaff or Sedona, it's not that far of a drive. So, but yeah. Have you been to Maris? Is it Maris Adventure Park? Is that how you pronounce that in Texas? Was it Scott was talking about that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, Scott is still in Texas, so I think he does some of that stuff. I'm going to see him in a couple days, actually.
Nice.
I went to like a couple OHV parks out there, and then Supercell in Colorado a year ago before I moved. So most of the stuff I've been doing now, New Mexico is not like the greatest place in the world to live, but this is actually pretty nicely centrally located for a lot of these events. So pretty much every event is within like a 8-day drive, which is nice.
Awesome. The Raptor event you're doing, is that the Raptors and Rifles, or?
Yeah, R&R off-road at Eagle Canyon or something. I'm going to get a bunch of work done and then visit our friend Fabian and then come back here before, I guess, the next thing I have after Colorado is SEMA.
Mm-hmm.
We have to
Oh, look
give
at you.
a hard
There's-
time.
Yeah. And Scott.
Does Scott,
Yeah.
did Scott get his tar top? I know he was over there.
They were doing R&D on it, so they wrapped up the basically just cutting out a space for the crossbar on the Raptor. And then once they did that, they now have no issues with compatibility across the models. So now, no matter what model Bronco you have, it fits.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
so
I know a
it's
lot
pretty
of us non-Raptor guys are putting those braces in. Some of us, since you can buy them from Ford Performance, it's just to help with that rigidity. So that's good news. That makes it,
Yeah, I think it was kind of nice to keep that because I don't think short term it would matter, but long term, for the people who actually use it, I'm pretty sure it'd start to take a toll on the body. I mean, shoot, even after a year and a half, I can tell it's it's taking a toll on the body.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Evan, you've been quiet up there, buddy. You got anything you want to talk about to us?
No, not particularly. Just looking at the pile of parts I need to get installed before you go out to the Rubicon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. How about you, Milton? I know you just got back from Stampede. We want to give us any update on what happened there?
I just got back from Stampede, and so some people that are in the chat were there. I didn't get to meet up with them because I don't know their faces, unfortunately, and there's just a wide mixture of people. But I did get to break in kind of the suspension on the way down and play with a couple of the new settings. We recently just installed the Falcon shocks on the Bronco, and I kind of found a sweet spot of like a 3.2 compression and rebound that just handles really good with the 37s. And it gave me a little bit too much confidence on Tail of the Dragon because it was just, really carving, and I kind of took some mileage off of those 37s. But other than that, I really love the new suspension. I can't wait to get it off road. So here in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to go down to the Red River Gorge and test it out.
You need to drag Evan down there. I've been telling him that's a great place to wheel.
He won't come. He only travels for Jody for Bird Dog. So
I only have so many days off per October, guys.
You need to take a leave of absence.
yeah, you're very sick. You have family matters to
Give
attend
birth
to.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or too bad we can't take like paternity leave for new puppies. That'd be awesome.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Monica, didn't you just see some new? Was that today? The puppy?
Yeah, that was today. We had a little C-section at work and 3 little golden retriever puppies.
Oh,
Were those
Fresh out.
smaller than normal, or is that like average size for that young of a
They were
puppy?
average. They were 1 pound, so they were, I don't know, they're little potatoes
Tiny.
at that point. Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah.
awesome. So as far as
Got my,
Stampede, go ahead. I was going to say, as far as Stampede, Milton, how would you compare that to Supercell East as far as size?
I don't even have mine on.
Boo.
I think Supercell East definitely had more Broncos, less vendors, but I think overall Supercell East I think is a little bit more fun because you're not far from going up to what is that off-road park that you went to? That's only like which one?
You talking about Windrock?
Yeah, Windrock is not far. I guess if you're going to shop and buy things for your Bronco because you don't have them, I think Stampede is a good place. But if you're already kind of got your rig built like what we do, and you already have the RCVs and whatnot, I was going there to make connections for the YouTube channel. Wasn't too successful, but I shot some content when I was down there. It was really hot. It was like 90 something degrees, no breeze, and then it was kind of raining towards the evening. So for me as a content creator, I didn't really have a great weekend. I had a better weekend at Supercell East. And I met a lot more people at Supercell East. There was like more people willing to kind of sit around and chat with you. I think at Stampede, they're kind of just busy shopping.
Yeah. Probably a different atmosphere, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So, Austin, you ever go wheeling on the East Coast?
No, I don't. I'm actually going to Alabama in like middle of September, and I was debating bringing my Bronco out there to see how much I could explore, but I'll only have weekends off, and it's going to be a quick like Air Force trip. So I'll be there for like 5 weeks. I just don't know if I really want to put the miles on my Bronco for weekend trips. We'll see.
Put it in the back of one of those planes and just have them ship it out there for you.
I've been honestly thinking of some creative ideas because they'll pay for a rental car. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can rent a truck, like an F-250 or something on like one of those car sharing apps and tow it, or something like that.
Yeah, Toro or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I
You can rent a
wonder
Super Duty on there for like $69 a day.
Nice, perfect, optimal amount. But yeah, that would be ideal. So I'm thinking about it, but I also there's a lot of simplicity in just like going to get a rental car and then not worrying about having the Bronco out there. Because then also like I don't know how crime-ridden downtown Montgomery is, but parking my Bronco outside on the street is like a little nerve-wracking to me. So we'll see.
The problem is you're going to get your rental car and then wish you had your Bronco.
100%, yeah. Plus, it's gonna be 5 weeks of me just like, not even just driving a rental car, but I have gotten into this mentality of driving my Bronco that there are no curbs or potholes or like the road doesn't really exist anymore. So I just do whatever I want, which makes me a lot more of a Texas driver than I used to be. But anytime I get into a smaller car now, I don't avoid potholes. I look at curbs and I get sad because I'm like, oh, that would have been so much quicker if I could have just driven over that. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, just do like Evan did when they got a Jeep Wrangler rental or something, didn't you, Evan?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
My Bronco.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I really want? It's like buying off-brand Coke. Like at that point, I might as well just get like water.
So I had been dead set for a long time on solid axle swapping the two-door Bronco. And so last August we went out to Colorado so Courtney could shoot a wedding, and I'm like, oh, we'll have all the kids with us because we turned it into a full family vacation. I'm like, while she's shooting the wedding, me and the kids will rent a Jeep. We're in Estes Park. We'll go do the trails around Estes Park. And the minute that thing left the pavement, I remember why IFS is so much more comfortable. I was bouncing my head off the roll bar on the side. It was a kidney beater, and it was a Rubicon. I'm like, oh boy. I strongly wish that the Bronco had made the trip out there instead. We rented a minivan to take all the kids out there, and then got out there with the rental minivan and rented another vehicle with the same motor in it as the minivan.
You're making me think I should bring my Bronco. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
might as well.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go, anybody around Birmingham or Montgomery that wants to go off-roading, might be
Stony
bringing my
Lonesome is
Bronco.
out that way, right?
What's that?
Stony Lonesome Off-Road Park is in Alabama.
I'm not really familiar with Alabama. Only thing I know down there is football and Talladega.
There's a beach. Yeah, football season will be in full effect. So I think that's like the best part about this trip, to be honest. Yeah. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a Bama fan while I'm there. I don't really want to get in any fights, and I think that's the easiest way to avoid that. Just roll Tide.
There you go. Then when in Rome, do what the Romans do, right?
Yeah, Stony Lonesome.
War Tide, Roll Eagle.
Yeah.
In Coleman County, Alabama, is Stony Lonesome. It's one of the top-rated off-road parks in the South.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Never heard of it though. Is it supposed to be better than Windrock, you think?
It's not as big as Windrock. Windrock is like 78,000 acres.
Yeah.
But it's got some gnarly climbs. It's where they do like the rock buggy hill climb challenges, where you'll take them and you'll just shoot them straight up in the air and hope you land on all four when you get to the top.
That sounds fun.
There you go.
I could also do that in a rental car.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think
Nothing's stopping me.
a Jackass clip about doing that in a rental car, but you can find out.
Only one way to find out.
They sell insurance.
So I got some news for you. I called Ford today because, as you noticed, mine doesn't have the rooftop tent on it anymore. It doesn't have the RCI rack on it. My Bronco was squeaking and cracking real bad and real loud inside the cab. And when we were doing my suspension, Adam Larson, who's part of our Central Kentucky Bronco group, he's like, man, Milton, your top is like really bowing out on the driver's side. And I was like, yeah, you're right, it is. And what was happening is it started to delaminate, and I also saw some like bubbling and some scaling on the passenger side, and this is the second top. So this is the one that they warrantied out in 21. So I called them and I was like, hey, here's my problem. Here's my VIN. Here's some pictures. They're like, all right, we'll take a look at it. We'll have to give you a call back. It's like, all right. So they look at it and they go, yeah, we can't warranty this top out. It only had a 1 year, 12,000 mile warranty. You're at 62,000 miles. They said, but we can look at to see if we can offer you a discount on a new top. And I was like, well, I'll have to maybe consider that at some other time. I don't really want to buy another factory one. I'm probably just going to have to save and get rid of this top, but it's really starting to come apart. So I had to take all of the weight of it, you know, the tint and stuff off because the top section is literally coming unglued.
I know a guy in Texas that makes some good tops. I think
We'll give you a shameless plug here for Armadillo hardtops.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw them
This
at
is funny
CFP.
too. You're bringing up a really good point it's a really tough conversation I always have with my wife about like why anybody would need an aftermarket top.
Yeah.
Mine came with the hard top as well with the Raptor, and it's been decent so far for the past like year. But anybody who's not familiar with Broncos would look at like, why would you buy an aftermarket top? Because it comes with one. But then you hear these stories left and right, and you're like, because the top that they gave us is terrible. It's not going to last 5 years, let alone 10.
No.
So, and then it's like, well, you know, can't you warranty it? It's like, maybe, but a lot of these dealers and very dealer dependent probably won't because they're not familiar with it and they don't know like how to warranty these things yet.
Well, and I think they leaked that painted hardtop, that ruby red one everybody is showing. I think the only reason why they're painting them is so they hide their defects, honestly.
I think it's a completely new top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they say it is, but you know, you buy
I
one
think
of those.
that to me just means they admitted to messing up for 4 years. Like they know they made a top that wasn't good, and they're trying to fix it by making another one, that is the correct move. But that means if you're in the first 4 years, you're kind of screwed if you plan to keep your top for more than a couple of years. Like I'm afraid to park my car outside in the sun because I genuinely think the top is going to just start decaying, which it has been.
Well, it will.
Versus,
I mean, mine wouldn't fit in the garage, and so it's been outside since the day I've owned it, and it's got like these weird like dents in it. It's just like where the material is like starting to soften up. You can literally see it has like these what I call forehead dents, just these little impressions in them, and then you get like scaling. But yeah, I'm kind of SOL now, so I'm just gonna ride it out for a little while and try to find a top and save up for a top. I mean, the suspension that I just put on it took a big chunk out of my wallet. Like Jody, you know that suspension I had on it was the very first 4-wheel part suspension that came out. It had about 40,000 miles on that suspension, and when I took it off, it was literally falling apart when I took it off. So hopefully these Falcons will last me a good while because I think the next fortune I'm going to have to spend is on a top.
Who has the highest mileage on their Bronco in this group? It's not me. I'm just wondering.
I'm 6282.
Yeah, I'm only like 54.
60. Nice. Got us beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at 60.
Yeah, because I think you and I got our Broncos around the same time, right? So I got mine July 2nd of 21.
July of
Do
22.
people understand how freaking impressive that is to put that many miles on a car?
He's got a year on us, man.
What's crazy too is that like I almost guarantee that a percentage of that is off road, if not like in the tens of percentages.
Yeah,
you know, like,
a lot.
Which I
mean,
that's one of the things I wish for, because like I don't know if like the nav display knows when you're not on a road. It should add this stuff up for you and be like, you've driven 30% of your car off road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
That's freaking wild. 60,000 miles is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's good.
Derek and Monica probably have what, about 30-40% just at Sand Hollow, right?
Well,
For real.
there's a few trips.
Yeah. Of driving around because we got a little lost too.
Yeah. Everybody tells me,
I
like,
never.
I don't know what I'm
It's
doing.
hard to. I don't know what it means to be lost in Sand Hollow. It all looks the same to me,
It
at
all
least.
looks
This is
the
my
same.
first time there. So
Yeah.
people are like, "We're lost." I'm like, what do you mean? We
Don't put
took
me in
the
charge
wrong.
at night, like ever.
Please don't follow us.
So bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in Ohio, so I wanted to meet Evan. I've followed Evan, and he invited me up to Bronco Palooza. So I was like, yeah, I'm coming, man. And last year I was going to go, but I had some stuff come up. So this year we went and slept out in Evan's driveway in the rooftop tent for 2 days.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome. But I mean, I'm down to go. I mean, if I'm invited, I'm going. And I've been to Missouri, West Virginia, Tennessee. Plan to go out to Texas, Big Bend next year and do some stuff out there and see some family. But I mean, that's why my Bronco has so many miles on it. I've been to Missouri. I off-road just about anywhere on the East Coast.
Need to venture out to the West Coast, my friend.
Yeah, for real.
You know, I will here soon. So I got to see what's going to go on with this hardtop because that is going to be my next big cost. I do want to get that fixed because it is a daily.
Do like I did, Milton. Just go. I'm basically sponsored by a firm now. I'm sure if Turn Off Road or maybe Fabian could answer, or you could buy his top 2 Blockbuster with financing.
Yeah.
Play your car.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some communications with Turn. I've seen their top at Supercell East. It's a really nice top. I mean, Fabian's top has a lot of function, like a lot of cool features. You know, the split moonroof, and I saw Evan standing on it at Bronco Palooza. I mean, it's a solid top. You know, there's a big price difference there between that top and Turn's top, but again, 2 different tops, right? So it's like when you're comparing suspension or you're comparing tires, you know, it's what can you afford and what's functional for you. But yeah, I mean, I would love that top. It's a beautiful top. Had a lot of admirers at the Stampede, that's for sure. And Bronco Palooza.
Very fortunate to get the Anderson composites top, but to be honest with you, that was the first top that's really available. But if I was getting one now, I'd definitely be hitting Fabian up for one of those square backs.
I wouldn't recommend ADV.
Square back.
Yeah. I wonder why.
They're hard to get a hold of right now.
They have a huge waiting list.
Yeah.
Very
I kind of
exclusive
hope
as well.
if they end up going out of business, I kind of hope they have like a clearance sale. I can give you some maybe a hood or something.
There'll be a
Somebody tells me they couldn't
clearance
afford to
sale
put them on clearance.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I don't want to, of course, I don't have nothing personal against those people, but one of the things that always kind of put me off about them when they were doing videos, jumping up and down on their competitors' top just to kind of shit on them, that to me was in poor taste. It was like, just, that's, I mean, one, not many people jump up and down their hard tops,
It wasn't mine, but I did.
That wasn't my hard top.
Yeah, it wasn't his hard top, Monica.
They could have done that and easily could have done a comparison with the OEM top, which is what anybody would have wanted to see to begin with. But the fact that they targeted the company and then ended up where they did is kind of just,
poetic justice, kind of.
Yeah, I guess you could say.
Like, I think they did that because Anderson was getting theirs out. Because I got mine over a year and a half ago. I think I was the first one to get one, and I got like 4 or 5 months after I ordered it, and they had just started taking pre-orders around the same time I ordered the Anderson composites top, and I think they were just trying to get everybody, no, don't spend your money over there. Wait on us, and now look at them. So I feel sorry for the people that lost their money. I know a lot of people got their money back because they got tired of waiting. Our friends over at All Terrain Nation did that, but it's just like, that's like, I know back in the Toyota days, there was a company called Pef Rebuilt. A lot of people got screwed over the same way. They bought all this stuff, and then this company went out of business, and boom, nobody got a refund. And a lot of the other vendors stepped up at that time to kind of help with some special discounts for those people. But, hard tops are a different beast. I doubt anybody's going to be able to do something like that. But it's sad.
Man, I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah.
Pilfrey Belt. I still have one. Do you remember they did that special collaboration with Dixon Flannel? They had their own flannels made. I won one of them in a giveaway, and I'm like, do I throw this away at a protest? But it was a super comfy flannel.
You just patch over it.
Right.
Just use it like when you're in a garage or something.
Black
Yeah.
with black marker like it's a tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I mean that's definitely Evan and I had almost come on. I asked it. I almost tried to talk him into coming on right after that broke, and I'm like, no, let's find out some more information about what happened. But of course, who knows what we'll all find out, once it goes to court and stuff. But ultimately, it's still a sad situation for those people that these aren't people who got. A lot of these people probably don't have a whole lot of hard-earned money. And they were sold on this was supposed to be the best quality top available. Of course, this is before Fabian got his out, but so a lot of people, put their money in because they thought they were getting the best hard top that's going to be available, and it turns out they didn't get anything, and that's very sad. So I hope those people are able to get a top at some point. So yeah.
So, Milton, how do you like that suspension? I've been really looking into the Falcon stuff from Terraflex, and just from what I've seen and read, I'm really impressed with it. But what's your opinion having hands on it?
Yeah, so I actually installed mine in my garage, on the floor of my garage, with just jack stands. Given my Bronco has 62,000 miles, I ran into some installation problems just because of, we're called the Rust Belt for a reason. A lot of salt and grime, and off-roading this thing in the water in the creeks. I had a couple of factory bolts just seized up in there, so I had to do a lot of air hammering and cleaning out. But overall, the install went really well. What I like is the 3 main settings, and then each setting has 9 compression settings. So it's really nice that you can fine tune for the city. So like when I went down to Supercell, I put it on super soft, and it was just like, it felt more like a trophy truck. It just kind of had that nice float. I didn't have that random like oversteering that you typically get from 37s. Like when it catches the grooves, it just kind of tracked a lot better. And then their engineering behind the shock itself is beautiful. Like you can tell it's got a lot of great quality parts. I would say the only downfall with it versus like the ADS like Jody's getting is because it's not a remote reservoir. Like the front reservoir is flipped upside down, and you have to, like in my picture and my background, you have to turn your tires out and then kind of like lay on the ground to get to the setting for the fronts, but you can just reach through the rear fender on the rears. But I mean, that's like all in all, that's it. You can change the settings pretty easily. I would say that's the only downfall. Like, and because that reservoir is so low with those clicks, like I'm going to have to click them a lot, constantly through winter to make sure that they don't seize up or grime up because they're down so low. Where like a ADS would probably be like higher up, like where your old crash bars used to be. But I did some content with Wheel Pros, and I got somewhat of a discount, like what Jody's getting with the sale. I think it's just all in all, how you plan to wheel it. You guys wheel a lot of the rocks and stuff. I think it would be honestly worth it to give it a shot. The way that their panhard bracket for their relocation kit is like, it's pretty awesome. Their panhard is really nice. I'm hoping that powder coating will hold up again because I'm in a salt-based area, but we'll see. Time will tell. But the ride was phenomenal. Like I didn't have any chatter or rattle in my Bronco anymore. Like with the other suspension, I would just hit a bump and you would hear panels rattling or the top was creaking. The new suspension definitely took care of a lot of that noise that I was hearing.
Yeah. Don't you have to run a specific back spacing for the wheel on those?
You do. So I'm running Forge Line wheels, their new wheel. They're working with Hearthrop, Australian-based company. They make superchargers. Well, they just moved to the U.S., which is they moved to Dayton, Ohio, which is 45 minutes from me. So my new wheels are from them, and it has a 4.75 back spacing, which is the minimum back spacing that you need for this suspension. The reason why you need that is because that reservoir is flipped upside down and it's so close to the wheel. That's why you got to be careful what wheel offsets you're using.
So is it like a specific number offset? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I'd have to pull it up, but they have it on their website.
I was just wondering if you could use any wheel with that offset, or does it have to be that specific one?
I don't see why, like, if you didn't have like a spacer or something, would affect the droop. The angle on it is pretty good. It's a 3.5-inch lift, and it's a 3.3 cylinder reservoir. I mean, it's pretty beefy. I mean, it takes a lot to get it in. Like, once you set it in the lower control arm, like, I had to take my lower control arms and drop them out to be able to get the reservoir down inside. And then I did their upper control arms, which are from Ready Lift. They're the fully billet aluminum adjustable ones. But once I took it to the alignment shop, it was like the best alignment I've ever had. It's so damn good.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I've been looking at suspension stuff, and that's one of them that I think not a lot of people know about them because they're mainly a Jeep-based company, forever.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm super interested in them. Is something different. You don't see people with them.
Yeah, because I think Terraflex owns them,
Yes.
and then Wheel Pros is a mass distributor of them.
Mhm.
And then I went wheeling with Evan at Bronco Palooza, and then his friend with a Jeep had him. And we were talking back and forth, and, a lot of the Jeep guys absolutely love them. But, if you look at you talk to a Jeep guy and they say, we'll get the rear axle relocation kit where it puts the suspension more vertical, not at an angle, that they perform really well. So I think that's overall what I'm yet to feel. The Bronco suspension in the back is at an angle, so I hadn't had it off road. But when I put all my camping gear in there, my last suspension would sag. So those were just coilovers, and I'd have to crank them down to get the weight. But this, I just go underneath, click the dial. And I've also tested like putting the rear soft or firm, and then the fronts, like, I've been going back and forth, and really like 3.2, 3.4 all the way around is like the best setting. I mean, it's super comfortable. And for my wife to want to drive the Bronco, she kind of stole it from me. Then I knew I had bought something worth buying, because before she just hated driving it. She's like, it was like driving a tank, and you hit a hole, it'd rattle your teeth out. But it's really smooth now.
See, Austin, you don't have to worry about all this stuff because you've already got the dream suspension, the bigger tires and everything. Feel lucky.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting Hypercos put on in a couple days too,
Nice.
as well as a couple other fun things. So in Colorado, I should have pretty different looking Bronco, I think. It'll be fun. I'm excited. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The drive to Colorado is going to be a lot quieter, I think. Which will be, yeah.
I got to show these off. Tom's Off Road.
Oh, nice.
They're stepping into the 6th gen market pretty heavy. And one of the first things they developed was a full billet controller.
Yeah, they had a Raptor at Stampede, I think. It was like in the front entry.
Yeah.
Vagabond could probably confirm that, or Fabian, but yeah, those look really nice.
Yeah, they are super cool. The thing that I really liked about them when we seen them down in Oregon, it's using OEM ball joint and bushings. And so the factory ones on mine are holding up just fine. And so you're just getting a much stronger upper control arm. So these just showed up, and I think I'm going to install these before SEMA because might as well. I mean, I need to install something. We got piles of parts. I got to do it. But yeah, these things are legit. They are beefy. So you'll see that coming.
They look really nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're black, so I'm excited.
Evan, are they like a matte? What's the finish on them?
Yeah, it's kind of like a matte.
Yeah,
it's not really shiny, but it's shiny enough. So, yeah. So Tom's Off Road, like I say, they're starting a lot of stuff for 6th gen. So They've had a little bit over the last few years, but they're primarily an early Bronco distributor. So, but with time. So,
and then Evan, you're running Rock Crawler, right?
They're not on yet, but yeah, I had to I have to get rid of the Icon ones. They're shot.
I love how many people in this group have all these parts just sitting like I've got all these amazing parts, but maybe in a week or two. You're not even in your garage. Where do you keep this stuff?
No, we're not. They're everywhere.
God, if y'all saw my living room right now,
front diff fluid, I got it right here.
I do need some of that. You got a case? Yeah.
You should start filling up with water and walk around with it.
Just drink out of it.
Just casually in one of your YouTube videos, just at one random point, just casually drink out of it, and then that's the only time. Never do it again. Never mention it.
Yeah, that's awesome. We should.
Yeah, I have a problem everywhere. If we were to spin the camera around here, y'all probably call hoarders on me.
Same. It's above my eye level right now, so.
Yeah, after I installed that suspension on the ground, I didn't want to install anything else for like a solid week. I mean, my back and neck was all cricked, and it just wasn't. I wanted it on so bad I didn't want to wait, but also I wanted to know how to do it. So I jacked it up and started ripping parts off of it, and could really see how my previous suspension failed.
Did you have to use I guess on your previous suspension, it wasn't the stock lower bolts that are like the studs that are pressed in. Did you
So those are the ones that got seized in because of all the salt and the grime. So I had to get an air hammer and get those out.
Okay.
But the new Falcon one is it's like a 2 studs welded on a plate, and then you hit the bottom of the plate and they come through. But it's definitely beefier all around. Like, I feel like if you wanted to jump this, you could. The quality is amazing. I have a connection. If you're interested, we can meet up together, or I can send you an email and send you who I know, and then you can go from there. But I would do it. I think on your rig, how you guys wheel, I think you would really like it.
Yeah, the first place I seen him was Dave Chappelle on the Dirt Head Shed. He did a set just on somebody's Bronco, and man, they just look awesome. And I just started reading on them at that point. So
yeah, I mean, if you daily your rig, it's really nice because you can set them up, and it's easy to switch out the dials. So when I go down to the trailer, I load it up. I just reach in there and flick the dials over, and then I'm off. So.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
I'm okay with not having the remote mounted reservoirs. I mean, as cool it is. I mean, in the function of it for right now, I'm like, well, this is better than we're on a 4-wheel parts coilover as well. Yeah. So, it's the next upgrade.
Yeah, mine, the powder coating on the coil was coming apart, and then I just feel like it needed the oil in them and stuff changed. Like, they just weren't riding as comfortable as they did when I first got them. And like all my bushings and stuff were kind of, really nasty, and they weren't holding grease anymore. The uniball on the upper control arm was like pretty much stuck in one position. So like I was getting creaking and stuff from it not moving. But yeah, it's out in the trash right now. Trash days tonight. It's out there. My wife's like, we're not collecting more parts. You have enough parts laying around, and you need to get them on and get them out of here. So
Milton, you need to save those parts because Evan could use them to make trophies for next year.
That's right. Well, him and Courtney are just going to win them all. So I mean,
we're not entering. That was the whole thing.
Saying they should recuse themselves from the competition.
Yeah.
I didn't even vote. And they're like, somebody yelled, "It's rigged." I'm like, I didn't even vote for my own car.
Hey, I voted for you.
Well, Evan, for some reason,
I voted for your car if I would have voted, but Courtney said she voted for you. I was in the booth the whole day while she was running around taking pictures. Like, we didn't want to abandon our booth.
Yeah, it was a great show. I actually had more fun at Bronco Palooza than I did at Stampede.
Well, Evan, if they don't make me send these old ones back, I'll bring you a set of broken CV axles when we hit the Rubicon, so you can take them back with you.
There you go.
I can definitely send you a box of broken stuff. Like we've got
Broken parts actually are more desirable than like just takeoff.
Right.
So if they're broken, they look cooler on the trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah. Let's say, Derek,
my
you could
cold,
heat up,
my cold air intake takes up like 25% of my garage right now.
oh,
My
wow.
stock one, and
Oh.
I feel bad getting rid of it. I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
Not hoarding.
I don't. Yeah, it's just all these parts. Like I feel I can't get rid of them because what if they break and I need it?
Right.
I need it again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just 3 shelves of 6G
So-
parts.
With the early Bronco
Yeah.
stuff, I'm
early.
replacing everything as we go, like nuts and bolts. And the idea is I can get parts and bolt it all together. And I already have the stuff on the shelf. Like,
There you go.
yeah. You know,
Except we're gonna buy it new.
no,
Yeah.
I'll build it.
That's the spirit.
Like right before this, I installed the CVF intercooler and charge pipes. We got Bird Dog on with them. He's going to be installing it,
Nice.
and it was cool. Like I was worried, did I get the boots all tight enough? Am I going to go up in the mountain and just boost up and the boot was going to blow off? Because it's a new product on the market, but it did great. I was flooring that thing up the mountain trying to get the boots to come off and test product, and it was really cool. It sounded great.
That's awesome.
I have the SMB cold air intake, and it's not ideal. I would not
really?
recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The SMB.
Yes, the lid has come off a couple times now, which is like not. It actually sounds great when the lid comes off, so that's how I know. Like I'll be driving around like, damn, it sounds pretty good today, and then I'm like, oh, the lid popped off. So a couple times I've opened the hood and it's just sliding around the engine bay, so it's what little aesthetic there is in the Bronco Raptor engine bay has been kind of scratched up by that lid. And they sent me a new lid, but it doesn't stay put, so I have to open the hood every couple of days and like reseat the lid. Supposedly they're fixing it though. I've got a hold of them and they're gonna remake the lid, but yeah, K&N has one now too, which is probably better.
Can you get the like when I was in the diesel world, we used to just put the SMB sock over the filter. You know how they have like a screen?
Yeah.
And
I think you could do that. I haven't done that because the big reason, or like one of the benefits of it was I think it would be a little bit more. I thought it'd be a little bit more watertight for how much like I go through mud and stuff.
Gotcha.
And then the first thing they said, the troubleshooting was to take out a side plug, like a rubber plug. And I was like, well, shit. Like now it's definitely not waterproof, and the lid pops off all the time. So I burned through one of their $70 filters in 2 months because of how often I go in the desert and like do all this stuff. And I emailed them. I was like, hey, I need a new filter. Like this is ridiculous. And they're like, sorry, that's normal wear and tear. I was like, I highly doubt that, but okay, I'll get a new one.
Speaking of cooling, just want to update everybody that radiator I put in. So just driving like around town at 105 to 110 degrees, it never gets over 200 anymore. The old and when I was driving down 17 back from Crown King, and even on Crown King while I was wheeling, I don't think the temperature ever got above 210 going up the hills, both on the freeway and on the trail. So that was a decent improvement. A lot. I expect a lot of improvement because, obviously the thermostat, but, it seems to maintain the temperature a little bit more consistently. So just something to note. It's about probably 5 to 10 degrees cooler on average, I would imagine, just for my basic observations.
And your bumper's not like obstructing anything. Like you got good airflow. At the Broncopalooza, on their first night off-roading, someone had a DV8 bumper and they were overheating because, just that intercooler was completely blocked.
Oh, wow.
I've heard that a couple times with DV8, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets too hot, the little light starts blinking at you. That's when I shut it off.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to do it out here in these mountains. I know that's the only time I've ever really come close is through Colorado or going up towards Flagstaff. In Colorado, it was getting like over 250 at some parts, which I know it's hilly, but still, or, some steep mountains. But, even here, like going from Phoenix to Flagstaff, it would get up in the upper 240s, climbing the hills back.
It's on our Bronco. Yeah. It just smells hot when we turn it off.
Yeah. The only time it really ever gets too hot is out in the sand dunes. But
Yeah.
There again.
That's a driving style thing.
Yeah. It's a choice. Manual mode, and just, select the gear you want to be in. That's all you need. Got to stay on top of it.
So do you ever go to Glamis, Derek?
Haven't ever. I want to. I think that'd be fun. There again, I don't think the Bronco's the right thing to take out there. Sand rail or something would be way better. But it'd be fun to at least just go play around on some of it.
Yeah. I always had fun at the Silver Lake Sand Dunes up in Michigan, but I didn't know everybody's like, oh yeah, you got Glamis out there, but I don't know anybody. I don't know much about it or talk to many people that have actually been there.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, from all the videos and stuff that I've seen, it looks really cool. Plus, they filmed a bit of Star Wars out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't ask me why I know that. I just seen it and it's stuck.
Derek, I found out you were a Monster Jam fan.
Oh,
or
yeah.
still are?
Yeah.
Who's your go-to?
Well, I'm a fan of all of them, but my favorite, we were way deep into that stuff, would have been Camden Murphy when he was driving Pirate's Curse and all that.
Oh,
he's just super cool guy. But we'd go down to World Finals in Vegas every year, and
I told him we took Lewis down.
I kept buying, the Hot Wheels of it for the kids.
Yeah.
They're still in the box, and I don't let them have that.
Yeah. Now there's like
we just took my 4-year-old to a monster truck event for the first time, and I was super because I haven't been in a while. I used to go with my dad all the time. It was like a local one, and it was really fun. But I was like the whole time I was like, this is not Monster Jam. I want Gravedigger, I want El Toro Loco, I want the big dogs back here.
Oh yeah,
they were clearly like afraid to hurt their rigs, which is I was like. Gravedigger was out there, and he breaks stuff every time he drives because they don't care.
And
these guys were like, you could tell they were a little timid. They're like, oh.
They don't get a free replacement truck when they roll it.
No,
Right.
No, one of the dudes, I talked to him for a little while. He was like, it was such a bummer. Last week I broke 2 steering pumps. Like, that's great. He's like, no, it was not. And I was like, all right, this is going to be a little bit tamed, I think.
Right. Yeah, no, we absolutely love that. We did that for years, and then everything when coronavirus hit, it just shut down everything.
Yeah.
So changed the path.
In fact, when Monica was looking at vet schools, I was looking at going to the Monster Jam University thing
in Ohio.
Ohio, it would have been down in Lima, I think, is where it was.
Lima.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think of like Lima, Peru, not.
Yeah. Well, I used to ride bulls in Lima, and it's a cool little veterinarian town. It's just wide open, but Lima, Ohio. But we take my 5-year-old too, but US Bank Arena is so small. It's like once they finally get lift, they're on their brakes. I mean, they'll roll and they'll tear stuff up. But my son's a huge Max D fan. He sweats Max D. But
I got some stuff I can send you. I got the cone spikes and stuff.
Oh, dude. Oh, he'd love that. Yeah.
Monica was saying you have a signed Gravedigger headlight. Is that?
Yeah. I actually found an old school red glass halogen bulb. It was out of an ambulance, but I got Dennis and all of his kids to sign it. So the only one that's not on would be Weston, their youngest.
Mm-hmm.
So
we were always Gravedigger fans growing up.
I haven't Monster Jam in a while.
Actually, Cynthia she was the driver for Dalmatian. She has a Bronco now. Like a 60.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get her in. We went. It was like a big nostalgia moment when we went there. It was awesome. Yeah, Tyler Meninga, I think his name is, the Gravedigger driver right now. Really good follow on Instagram.
Yeah,
he's got to be like 25, 26, but
they're young. Some of these guys.
Very.
Yeah. For a while, he was dating the Gravedigger's daughter. What's her name? Kristen
Anderson.
Yeah. I knew
Oh,
so
much
much
tea.
about this.
So
like-
much tea.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now it's Broncos and
Bronco T.
yeah, I still retain all
Yeah.
that other stuff for
Yeah.
no reason.
Even then, you were talking about bringing my Bronco to Alabama. We brought my wife's Palisade to that event. Just parking, I was like, dang, I wish I had my Bronco here because I bet people would appreciate it.
That'd be cool.
Well, I
Go
tell you
drive
what,
over a car.
when I was at the NMRA thing back in Ohio last year, I went up there with Anderson Composites, and they had Bigfoot there. Of course, when I went,
The OG.
when I was young, Bigfoot was pretty much the only game in town.
Yeah,
But,
Bob Chandler.
yeah, but he drove by my Bronco, and my Bronco's pretty lifted. I mean, it's higher than a stock Raptor does, but it made it look so tiny. It made it look
So he sold out to Hot Wheels though. So if you want to see, like, we've been to the Hot Wheels glow nights where they like neon light them all up. But yeah, the only way you can see Bigfoot now is if you go to the Hot Wheels one, and then he's not part of Monster Jam. So he's got his own thing.
his tires were taller than my hood.
Yeah.
As far as off the ground, it was just insane.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
Mattel lost the contract for the Monster Jam branded stuff, and so it was years ago. But that's when their toy line changed to what they call monster trucks, and they were all like, Tiger Shark and stuff like that. Really, one of the only real trucks they had was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because my wife doesn't understand, but like when we're buying monster trucks for my kid, she's like, "What about this one?" Like, no, it's a freaking Hot Wheels one. I don't want that.
Yeah.
We want, get the Monster Jam one. Like, get the real one.
Yeah.
Like,
If you can find
I
the
remember
actual Hot Wheels ones, those are worth money now.
Yeah.
I remember in the early 2000s too, my dad worked for a tech company and he got a old laptop and he let us use it. And there was a Monster Jam game on this laptop that was like, it was early stages of games and it was freaking amazing. It was like I can't remember the name of it. It was like Monster Jam something.
See,
But
with
we would always
firm, we could afford to start a Monster Jam race team. We just put a Bronco body on it. So,
Yeah, they had a Bronco body one at Stampede, but I don't know where it goes. I mean, it didn't even look like it
was
was
that the
used.
Fun Haver one?
No, it was actual like a full-on monster truck, but it wasn't labeled RTR.
Okay.
It was over by Bronkbuster's booth.
you sure
It might have just been Brockbuster.
What was that, Derek?
I said same thing. Sure, he wasn't.
Oh yeah, it wasn't his. Not the portal truck.
Oh yeah, Big Kahuna. Yeah, she's right. That actually ran a Bronco body.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it was really early on when the Bronco first come out. It was more kind of like the race type stuff, like what Vaughn and Lauren run. But
yeah, the
yeah.
Raptor, the R style one. Yeah,
maybe that's the monster truck that was there. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Was Lauren and Vaughn there at the Stampede?
no, they had a tractor and trailer there, but they're actually going to be at Lebanon Ford this weekend on Sunday, where I used to work. They're debuting that new Mystic Chrome Mustang that they're actually building and producing with Fox. So they're going to have the Mystic Chrome Mustang at the show and shine that they're having on Sunday here in Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
They were in Vegas doing that Reno to Vegas run or whatever it was through the desert.
In the Raptor.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
I know. I know.
Wasn't that like
I
a
wanna do
500 mile race or something like that?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'm going to need a Rotopax. Maybe two.
Or 4.
They actually
Yeah,
had to put
yeah.
blocks in the fuel tank because it was too big to fit in the class. So they could
Really?
have 2 fuel. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Austin, did you do the Raptor off rodeo when you?
No, I actually I did the normal off rodeo, and then when I got my, I couldn't really justify a trip to Vegas, I guess, for the Raptor off rodeo. Usually we go to Vegas like once a year for Air Force trips and stuff. So I was like, I'll end up there eventually, but then COVID and I don't know, we haven't done a whole lot of trips recently, so I think I'm like outside that window. And I think Scott had talked about it last time too, but I might try to go when we're there in November, if they'll let me. But we'll see. I also, like, at this point, I probably know my Bronco Raptor better than, not to say like better than they're going to tell me, but better than the average person that goes to that event. Because I use it a bunch. So I don't know if I'm going to get a whole lot out of it at this point, other than just like some free swag is really like the driving factor.
And lunch and dinner.
Yeah,
exactly. The lunch and dinner in Austin was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah,
and like getting
was
phenomenal. The experience was great, but that was like that was the first time I saw a Bronco. Was going to that event in like 2021 or whatever, and then first time I saw a Bronco Raptor is when I saw mine in 2022, and since from then it was like we're moving, deployment, and then never went to Vegas. So yeah, I kind of want to go just to get the free food and the swag, but I also like I don't want to go out of my way to do it at this point because there's other fun stuff I could do.
You coming to United by Bronco this year?
I think next. Yeah, when is that?
In March.
It's gonna,
February or March or something. Like
same time, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Same time.
I hope, I'm on like I plan like a 1 month out scope. So I'm like,
we're usually like 2 weeks out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with like. I find out about Bronco events like after they happen, so I'm trying to keep up with what events are happening and then see what I'm doing. But it's really hard to plan stuff in the Air Force because like this trip I'm doing in September for 5 weeks, I found out about it like a week ago. So I was just super happy that didn't conflict with SEMA. That was super lucky.
Yeah.
And most of the other plans I have, but that tends to happen in my line of work is they just say you're going to go here for a couple weeks. Bad.
So, Derek, how far out do you all usually recommend getting accommodations for that?
For United?
I would do it like right now. Like
you would if you were a planner, but
yeah,
we've gone like we show up to towns and we decide we're tired and get a place to stay. Yeah. So it depends on what you need.
Yeah, I would start looking now because
I know an Airbnb we could stay at.
No, that one was expensive.
That was expensive, but it was so nice.
I know it was.
We didn't even get to. We slept 4 hours at that house a night.
Yeah, you guys were busy.
We didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, you were a little too busy.
I mean, unless you're going to stay there like an extra day or something to soak it all in.
Are you going to camp in Sand Hollow, or are you just looking for an Airbnb?
Well, me, I'm too bougie. I don't camp anymore unless I have to. So I'll probably look for either a decent hotel. I mean, who knows by then? But I don't know if I'll still have if I have the dogs with me or not. So I kind of don't like taking them on like trips like that because of the terrain being so vertical.
It looks worse than it is. Like it's not bad.
That's not true.
No, it's not
pretty bad.
How did you like that last trail?
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
There's some.
I like how you said Monica was like, "Oh, you weren't nervous for that." I was like, "That." I was just looking at Derek. Seemed like he didn't care, so I didn't really care.
He's really good at not telling you that you're in a bad spot.
You were in a pretty rough spot when I was holding up under your wheel.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I didn't want to let you know that it was a cool.
It was a cool picture.
I feel like I like to think I'm pretty decent under pressure.
Don't
so I didn't really. Yeah,
I think he hides that expression behind that beard. That's why he wears it. So he doesn't show anybody else that he's completely terrified on the line he just put you on.
It wasn't. I mean, I think Mitch had a tougher time because.
Oh yeah.
He got in a pretty hairy spot. Yeah.
That one I was.
Yeah. We had the wheel pretty far off the ground. Yeah.
We didn't have to winch yours.
No, you did it.
No.
You just tipped it over.
Yeah. It was just mildly terrifying. The best part was like it seemed like it was a pretty rough spot, but when you're like, stop, I got to get a picture, and you like ran over. It can't be that bad.
There's got to be proof. That's the cool part with Sand Hollow. It's as easy and as tame as you want it to be, or you can get into some pretty good stuff.
You can also get
There
lost
again-
and accidentally end up on some of the pretty tough stuff.
Yeah.
When you go down trails backwards that you didn't know you were on, that
Yeah.
turns into a thing. So
Yeah.
I don't want to lead. I
I
kept
do.
telling everyone that.
But
She kept
yeah.
following us.
Could you imagine if I had led, or if Scott had led, or God forbid Fabian had led? We would have
Oh,
ended up
Maybe we'd
on
still
a
be
cliff
out
somewhere. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Here before you know it.
Yeah, I would look at Airbnbs pretty quick, because as it gets closer, it's going to fill up, and/or the prices will just go
Yeah,
up.
the prices will go up. There's some pretty good inexpensive places that we've stayed at, like when we go with smaller groups. They're pretty cheap and just a bed to sleep on. So
Do you guys just stay at your house and commute in every day? Is that your plan?
in our
Just
house,
drive down. Yeah, you're just gonna
it's only
stay
6
at home and
hours.
then drive down. Yeah, there you go. At the end of the day, drive home.
We'll get as
Sleep in
much
your own
sleep
house.
as we did last time.
Right.
Yeah, probably. I
Now,
think
that's like that rooftop tent, worst case. So.
this time I think just do less, and then
Yeah.
you're good.
That's really easy to say.
People
is
pull
when
you in
you're
a lot
me,
of
yeah.
directions.
Yeah.
And I
Not me.
I'm not the type of person that I don't lead with no. Like I'm
He
always
doesn't
like,
say no.
yeah, sure, like we'll figure it out. And then later on,
That's
I'm
the
like,
problem.
damn it, why did I do that?
You got to put yourself in the spot where people don't even ask you. People know I'm terrible at leading things and spotting things off road, so they don't ask. That's
They're not going to ask
exactly where I want to be. I don't want to be responsible
Well,
for anything.
I'm not lying when I say I don't know what I'm doing. I just act like it. Like
That's exactly what I'm saying. Stop acting like it.
so,
I don't know. I thought you did a pretty good job leading us around.
I had a lot of fun.
You
It was
fooled
good.
me. Yeah, it was fun.
So the point I've learned tonight is not to follow Derek at
The
San
thing
Jose.
that nobody knows is they're not following Derek. Derek's driving, and I'm sitting on Onyx just spinning the map, trying to figure out where we're at and where we're going.
Yeah.
I'll take
That
that
whole
one.
experience actually went fine. The only time I realized that we were doing what you were saying was when we basically just like cut across
Yeah.
nothing.
The whole
We just
area.
like, yeah, just like we're just gonna go north. I was like, oh, we're just
Yeah.
going cardinal directions now. Like, all right.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
But that was at the very end. That was like the very end of the thing. So like the rest of it was fine. I mean, whatever.
It's just super easy to get turned around out there.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
I want to spend more time out there, but there again, when you're in a big group, I mean, all of a sudden you're just like, well, we're going that way, I guess.
Yeah.
So, because then there again, there's all different skill levels too,
Yeah.
So,
What's your typical group size? In our group with Central Kentucky, we're running anywhere from 15 to 23.
We don't really ever get to pick.
yeah.
I think
It United, I think they're trying to keep the trails
Yeah.
at like what 20 to
20 max?
maybe 30. I don't know what they were doing, but
the group we took out was like 14.
Yeah.
And it was great. We had people
Mhm.
of all different skill levels, and
yeah,
that give us the ability to work with people
Yeah,
individually instead of having to rush people through to the next thing.
right.
my biggest thing is I like helping anybody understand. Yeah, okay, here's the line. This is why I'm telling you to take it, but let me explain that to you versus just, oh yeah, cool, you got up it, let's go to the next thing.
Right.
Because if you do get out there on your own, I want you to know why I want your tire on the rock versus, centered up.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the way I was taught when we started this, and it really clicked with me. So I would always tell people, here's what you want to do, but here's why.
hmm
I learned a
And
bunch on that like 3 days with y'all. That was awesome.
Yeah. And that way
I learned more in that 3 days than I have in like 2 or 3 years of off-roading.
Yeah. That's good.
So,
That makes me happy. Fabian said, well, Fabian included me, and I don't know that I would do that. just along for the ride.
she blacks out.
I don't do well in
Nah.
unless I'm driving. I can drive. I can't spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Erica said that Evan is a great spotter as well. I mean, I was following him around Badlands. I've never been to Badlands, and it was kind of like a heavier wooded. I felt like that first red trail we took was, a lot of woods, a lot of navigating through trees. But I find it hard to follow a 2-door when you're in a 4-door because like when he would start to approach over something and you're looking at the articulation in the rear, and then you're trying to find okay, am I on the same line? Am I gonna articulate the same way? But I like that challenge. It was like, okay, I'm gonna try to take his line and see if my 4-door could get through it. But you got to watch your fenders and stuff a lot more.
Yeah,
that was me following Mitch in his 2-door. I was like, well, I'm like 3 Monicas wider than Mitch. So like, if he's barely making it through there, then this is gonna be rough.
The biggest in Sand Hollow is the traction on the rocks is just totally different. Like, you don't need to air down much past 15 psi. That puts a lot of strain on the steering, and it's gonna shut off. But I run like 18 to 20 out there, and it's just perfect. The tires are just stuck to the rocks.
And you're still on 35s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those that, when stuff
still
isn't moving.
35s.
Still on 35.
You haven't grown up like the rest of us, have you?
Well, I'm jealous I can't go to 40s like a Raptor. Like every time I see a Raptor on 40s, I'm like, God dang, that's sexy as hell. Like, I'm like,
well, actually, sorry,
Jody
there's
went
one
to
guy.
38, and I'm like, man, I feel like I have 35s again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only know one guy with a Bronco Raptor on 40s that actually jumps it. Otherwise, like Matt on 38s blew his fenders off. Even mine with 37s. I should show a picture of the inside of my fender liner.
Right.
With stock 37s, I was taking off the inside of the fender liner. And then I have general 37s, and now it's still like it'll pop out the fender a little bit when I even like local off-roading here. So 40s is cool, but
yeah, I'm a firm believer that when you're on a 35, that's what it was designed for.
Sure.
I knock on wood. Yeah, sure, I broke the front diff, but that was with a lot of abuse on it. But it took forever. On 37s, I see people break more and more often, easier type stuff. But is that the tire's fault, or is it driving? Or is it just a weak component?
Like when we take people out, we have a lot of sand, silt, mud, and then you get into a rock, and then you get into an incline. Jody's wheeled out at the gorge. When a lot of people break out there, they have their wheel full locked, and they're just trying to push against that mud. And it's like, guys, once you get traction, that thing's just gonna buckle and snap.
Yep.
When you ride,
it has to go somewhere.
Exactly, it's got to go somewhere. So when I was wheeling with Evan, that was one thing I was trying to really pay attention to, because that was like the first real time I off-roaded with those 37s, and I'm a long way away from home. So
but I say all this, but I'm highly contemplating putting a 38 on the Bronco.
Yeah. It would look good.
The tires that Jody has literally felt like butter. They're so light, and they're a great tire. I'd say they're probably 20 pounds lighter than my 37s.
What are they?
They're the Nitto Ridge Grappler 38s. They're C rated. So funny thing is I did a video on this, but like if I switched, those are only like 2 pounds heavier than the KM 370 37 inches that I had before, which you all know BFG runs a little small anyway. But I also switched those method wheels, the B grip ones, and they're only like 22 pounds compared to Sasquatch is like 35. I think the Raptor's about the same weight. But the fuel wheels I had before, they were about the same weight as the Sasquatch. I actually dropped weight changing those wheels and tires to the way I did. So I actually dropped weight, my wheel tire combination. But those C-rated, they're definitely a lot softer. You can definitely feel it too when you're hitting the curves.
I was getting way better gas mileage on your tires than I get on mine.
Yeah, we had to swap out because the shop I was using, they said they couldn't do an alignment on anything bigger than a 37. And then they kind of find out when we went to swap back, that's how good of a friend Evan is. You know, he'll swap tires with you for a couple of days. But when we swapped back, unbeknownst to us, after he got them back on, it turns out they let like 10 pounds of pressure out of them. Because he messaged me
It's
later.
more than that. It was like 20 pounds.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
run
they
them
put
like
it.
55,
I run them
50.
at 55. They put them down to like 34.
Yeah, probably because they probably couldn't get them to align like the 38.
Probably because it was as tall as a 37 or 38.
Yeah.
I was talking about this, I think, last time when Scott was on here, Austin. I saw Mitchell Watts' Raptor at the Super Cell East. He had the 40s on it. Now, he had those E-Box springs that basically just lifted up, but he was even telling me that when he bottoms out, that it hits the fender well. I wonder if you all looked at those Fouts bump stop kits they make.
Yeah, I think Matt M Raptor is getting those, and then 22 Bronco Raptor on Instagram. Eric has 40s with APG fenders, bump stop kit. I think he has limit straps and all that. Still, I think rubbing a little bit on those. I just don't think there's a way to have 40s and not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things that you have, Derek, those Sumo springs, they don't, I'm assuming those won't fit the Raptor models because it's a different rear axle thing.
I would imagine it's probably pretty close
Pretty dang
because it
close.
just goes around the housing of the axle.
It's
But the Raptor already has a bump stop.
yeah, you have
from
bump
Ford.
stops.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just wondered if the Sumo spring would work better, softening that up, making it to where it's less.
and I guess now that you say that, I wonder if they have some solution to replace the factory one with theirs. But I would put money if they do, they would work far better. Like that's one product that I am super on board with. They work really, really well.
You see, those Falcons have internal bump stops built into them. So if you look at the front, you can see them pretty easily. You'll see a big yellow coned baffle. So I'm kind of, interested to basically let the suspension go full soft because I do want to experience it, bottoming out on that bump stop just to see how it's going to handle. But yeah, the Falcon has the internal built bump stops.
Yeah.
Well, the Radflows did too. And I can tell you, I mean, you'll still bottom out. It's still not going to be as soft as what like Derek's got. I mean, because I had those Radflows have them in the rear. They're about, I want to say like that tall, maybe about that big. And they're like a yellow color because I think that's the reason my rock crawler kit didn't have any rubbing issues whenever we first put it on because we still don't. When we flexed it fully over at Crown King this last weekend, there was no rubbing whatsoever on the fender well or that. I think it's because that bump stop limited that up travel.
I honestly like with 37 true 37s too. I don't think you even need bump stops. I think like for how hard I've driven my Bronco Raptor 2 since I've gotten it, the only damage I guess you could say is like I've rubbed off a little bit of the fender liner, and that's half an inch of a bigger wheel.
Right.
So people go in 38s, then you're going to add more complexity, which I don't think people understand is like if you go up to a 38, you're not just buying $200 more a tire. You're buying now, you have to get probably springs, bump stops, limit straps, probably have to get spacers, maybe fenders. Like the cost of going up an inch in a tire if you're actually using it is substantial.
The thing is, if you want to jump it and haul through the dunes, like
I think a 37 would be your sweet spot.
I don't see any right. Yeah, I do agree. The 40s look really good, but performance-wise, the 37s have been perfect. I love it. There's nothing. Yeah, especially around here. Like when I go off-roading here, like I'm not doing any crazy stuff. I'm mostly just going fast, and like 37s are more than enough to take on anything out here.
Yeah.
Plus, I also daily mine, so I'm like, I like the 15.5 miles per gallon I get or whatever.
Oh yeah, I daily mine. When I put the 37s on, I was like, ouch. The gas is, you're putting premium.
What's crazy though is I got a 5-star tune a couple months ago, and my MPG went up. So I was expecting it to go down for a couple reasons. One, I just thought it would be more aggressive, and two, I thought I'd be like spinning wheels more. But my average miles per gallon has gone up about 0.3 overall, which is kind of weird. I like it. It's a great tune, by the way. I don't know.
So I'm wondering if they're using
that is
some
easily
of
the best upgrade I've gotten.
same tuning and electronics that they're using on Explorer then, because no one's been able to really do the 2.7 for tuning as far as custom without changing out to an F-150 electronics. I know some guys doing that right now.
Yeah.
But are they doing the same thing on the Raptor?
Yes.
Or okay.
So I had to PCM swap it, and then it's actually like I thought it was going to be a lot more of a deal or like a problem, I guess. But when I met up with them, they had their own PCM, so they gave me a PCM. They swap it. They give you the factory one, and then all they do is just load it like it's a normal Bronco. So at that point, like once they load it with a normal load file, no one would know unless they literally pulled the PCM out of the car and checked the serial number. And then from there, it's cracked, so they can do whatever they want.
Right.
And if I had to go back and spend money on just one upgrade on my Bronco, that would be the one thing I chose. It is incredible what it does to the Bronco.
Yeah, I have an option right now to get one. I was a bit nervous about it, but if you're pretty confident in it, I'll go ahead and tell them yes, because you know, I was worried about what it would do to the electronics, given that I have so many miles on it now and it's completely out of warranty. I was a little afraid.
The warranty thing made me a little nervous, but I also, that's like super dependent on the dealership, like what happens to the car anyway. And then the other thing too is oh shoot, what was I gonna say? The benefits of them being able to fix it, like they can update it as much as they want. So if, for example, you got an over-the-air update that was a PCM update for whatever reason, which I think is super rare, it might wipe the tune, but you can just upload it again yourself because they give you the load file. So far, I've done 3 over-the-air updates with no issue. And the other thing I was worried about too is I know people get tunes and they drive up in altitude. Yeah, it affects the car. But I live at 4,600 feet and I've driven up over 10,000 and it hasn't been a problem yet.
So are you tuning with an RTD then?
It's a like MP3i, I think that's what it's called.
Okay. All right.
The little thing that connects to the dash, and then the hardest part is the PCM swap, and then they send you the file, and all you do is like plug it into your Bronco and then upload it. Yeah, which is pretty cool. I was super hesitant on because I didn't understand it, but I met them at TRR. They talked to me about it, and then they did it there, and I was like, this is way easier than I thought. It's just it should be easy. Like I just wish the PCM was cracked and we could all just do it, but this is the hoops we have to jump through for a while.
Right. I mean, I built performance vehicles before. I had a Whippled supercharged F-150 before this. I did all the work myself. ID Motorsports, who I sell Bronco stuff through, he tunes the Explorers and F-150s, and he did my Whipple. So I think what we're going to try to do is test it on mine, but that's what he said I'd have to do. I'd have to switch it to an F-150 one, which he has, but I've been on the fence. I'm like, what if I put this thing in and it bricks?
I have my PC. I have my factory PCM somewhere around here. I don't know. It's in a drawer or something. Like I have my old one in case I need it.
Right.
Which, like, if my transmission blew out tomorrow and I was going to bring in the warranty, I would probably put in. I would just like unscrew the one they gave me and put in the new one or the old one. But yeah, it's been pretty low key. I know there's also Goose Tuned out here, which is like they're supposedly very good with Cobb tuning all that. But he admitted he's like, I can't touch that because the encryption is going to be it won't be cracked for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Mm-hmm.
It's annoying, but if as long as you have someone with FDRS that can load the Bronco like load file onto it, I think it was like $1,500 or something, and it absolutely changed the driving the Bronco.
Sweet.
The one thing it did that was weird though is it made my shift number on the left like the electronic dash. So usually it's white, and then if you go to manual mode, it'll go to orange. And now it's always orange. So like when I get in the car and I go to drive, if I go to manual mode, there'll be no visual difference. I just have to know, like I know that I hit the paddle, so I'm in manual mode. In a way, I kind of like. Yeah, I know.
That's the only thing I hate about ours is that, it doesn't show it anymore. Like, I came from F-150s. It always showed you what gear you were in. You put it in manual mode, and then it falls out and goes into auto mode. It takes the shifting number away. I mean, not that it's super important, but there's times on the trail when I'm in manual mode where I don't want it to shift, or I want to stay in gear a little bit longer. I'd like to be able to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Even if you are in drive, you can still bump that, and it'll tell you what gear. And then if you hit it again, it'll actually make the shift.
Oh, okay.
So you can give that a try. Because I watch that all the time, like on the highway and stuff. I try to maybe get a little better fuel mileage, but it doesn't help.
Right.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys.
I always when I'm going down a hill, I always downshift, but I don't know if I've at a certain point I just forget. I'm like, did I downshift, or is this just the gear I'm supposed to be in?
Awesome.
I need to get to bed. So it was nice meeting you, Austin. Everybody have a good night. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good talking to everybody.
Thank you, guys. I think I'm going to head out too. Austin, thank you so much. So people, if who are watching this later, if you don't know who Austin is, go on Instagram, search Raptor Roach. You'll not be disappointed. He's got tons of cool videos, beautiful Raptor. And if you're into fighter jets and stuff like that, you'll definitely get everything that you want on there. So,
yeah. If you're ever up at Wright Pat Air Force Base, hit me up. That's not far from my house.
Oh yeah, go to the centrifuge.
Yeah.
Basically, Austin's like Tom Cruise. If Tom Cruise could be like Austin, so.
Yeah. And if I was attractive.
Tom Cruise made a deal with the devil. He's never aging.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you. This was super fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. We'll do it again sometime, man. All right, everyone.
All right.
Please like and subscribe to all the channels and videos and everything for us, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks. Peace,
all right,
guys.
Good night, everybody.